You are now listening to The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Courtney on the One Podcast Network. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK in the world, it's The Box Out here on the One Podcast Network. My name is Kahlil Thomas. In a few minutes, Jason Courtney will be joining me from Brooklyn, New York. A lot to get to. Sorry we've been gone. Our headquarters here, our One Podcast Network headquarters, got some water down here. So I spent the last week and a half cleaning up water and pulling up carpet and all that stuff. But we're here. The headquarters is safe and sound. We're back. Bruce did his thing last night. We're doing our thing tonight. So thank you so much for watching. If you're watching live, thank you. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, thank you so much as well. We appreciate you as well. Please subscribe, like. Getting into our opening tip. And, you know, around this time, that tail end of August, beginning of September, usually not a lot to discuss when it comes to basketball. Obviously, WNBA keeps us fed. Right, WNBA keeps us fed for the whole summer, keeps us going. Just recently, last week, right, Pablo Torre, who used to be on ESPN, now on Meadowlark Media, now with The Atlantic, kind of still with Meadowlark Media, does his podcast, I think licensed from Meadowlark to The Athletic, whatever. Pablo Torre is one of the best reporters in the country, in the world, whatever. He does a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out, and his topics are usually it's very nerdy, very, 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 very deep divey, if you will. Hey Dad, how you doing? He did a story, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, all right, where's this going? Because Pablo has a tendency to kind of start slow, tell stories, right? Gradually get into the topics and get into. So he's telling the story, getting into, he's with David Sampson, who was the former president of the Miami Marlins, total scumbag. And Emil Hassan, who used to be with ESPN as well, he was also a front office exec with the Phoenix Suns. So Pablo's telling the story, and all of a sudden, it becomes the story of Kyrie Irving. Jesus. Kawhi Leonard. Why did I say Kyrie Irving? I guess I'm thinking about Kyrie Irving. Kawhi Leonard. And if you don't know who Kawhi Leonard is, he's this guy. If you didn't hear that, hear it again. He's that guy. Plays for the Clippers. He went to the Clippers. Steve Ballmer, who was one of the richest men in the world, ran Microsoft, brought the Clippers after the whole Donald Sterling hate black people thing back in the 2000s, 2010s with Doc Rivers. If you didn't see that miniseries though on FX about the Clippers and Donald Sterling, watch that sidebar as I go on. So apparently the story that Pablo's telling is of Kawhi signing his extension with the Clippers. Ballmer, investing, I guess is the word, in a company called Aspiration, who did like carbon credits and clean energy, clean stuff. I don't know. So Ballmer invested in this company. This company proceeded to sign Kawhi Leonard to a side deal for $28 million to be like a spokesperson, which happens all the time. Like we see athletes, actors, we see them with side deals, not so much side deals, but sponsorship deals, to be pitchmen, be ad men. My favorite is Matthew McConaughey driving a Lincoln. Those are always funny to me. Anyway, but in the contract, and Pablo Torre goes into very, 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 very deep detail about this contract, it kind of went into the expectations of what the company expected from Kawhi Leonard. Retweets, a picture or something, anything to promote this company that agreed to pay you $28 million. He did nothing. He essentially got paid, not the whole 28, because we'll get into that later, to do nothing. So I think it was referred to as a no-show job. If you don't know what a no-show job is, a no-show job is you get paid, but you don't actually do anything, right? You don't show up to the office, you don't show up to the work site, or you show up and you just don't do a damn thing. So he got paid to do nothing. Now, the crossing of the patterns becomes when Ballmer's company that he invested in, he owned 3% of Aspiration, signed into this deal, which seemed like from the outside, Ballmer had something to do with it because he knew of Aspiration, he had a relationship with Aspiration, blah, 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 blah. So it already kind of looks kind of weird, kind of looks kind of bad. Ballmer went on ESPN with Ramona Shelburne, said they did nothing wrong. Pablo's evidence was compelling. It was very, very compelling. And it was one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, okay, that connects. Okay, that connects. Okay, that connects. Wow, a lot of shit makes sense. And the more you kind of listen to that, and Pablo, and I know Bruce, thank you. What's up, man? Pablo Clout seeking Torre. I disagree with that. I think there is something to see here. Because it's one thing to make accusations. It's one thing to make these grandiose accusations not have evidence. Pablo Torre had evidence, and he had a lot of evidence. As I bring in Jason Courtner from Brooklyn, New York. Jay, what's going on, bro?
Not much, man. How's everything?
Things are good. The headquarters are back to normal.
Good.
So I'm starting with the Kawhi Leonard Clipper story. I'm just getting to what was released today.
Oh, there's more stuff?
There's more stuff
was released?
More stuff today, actually. So we have KL2 LLC, which is Kawhi Leonard's company, getting money from Aspiration. Ballmer saying, nothing to see here. And then it came out today that the minority owner of the Clippers, Dennis Wong, who was Steve Ballmer's college roommate, he owns 1% of the Clippers, which is weird. He invested in Aspiration $1.99 million.
Oh, wow.
At this point, and I watched it before the show now, at this point, Aspiration was about to go bankrupt. They had no money. They couldn't pay Kawhi. They were already late with one of his payments.
Mm-hmm.
So on December 6th, 2022, Dennis Wong gave the company $1.9 million on December 6th, 2022. On December 15th, 2022, Kawhi received the payment for $1.75 million. So if you kind of put it together, it seems like, and this is just what I'm seeing,
okay,
the minority owner of the Clippers and Steve Ballmer's friend gave the company almost $2 million. And then 9 days later, the company who did not pay Kawhi Leonard yet up to that point paid him $1.75 million they owed him from 2 weeks before that. That's what came out.
So now, like a little money laundry going on over here.
So we got this. We had everything Pablo said before. The Clippers already got in trouble in the past for circumventing salary cap rules. I will ask you now, and Bruce is saying there's nothing to see here. What do you think of this whole thing, especially now what I just told you that came out this afternoon?
I mean, I thought they was guilty from the beginning. I mean, once I feel like Steve Ballmer did not know he did not know the rules, being a new owner and everything, and he's just thinking, hey, how could I manipulate things a little bit? And I feel like, honestly, I personally think, without doing any investigation, just hearsay, I think he got this practice. I think other owners have done this in the past, a la Mark Cuban. So I think that's where he got this whole idea from. But that's just me. But yeah, I think Pablo got them dead to rights, and I think as much as Ballmer saying he had nothing to do with it, clearly his best bud from college hooked him up with that little $2 million loan, one to pay off Kawhi a little bit. I think the league has to come down on them and strip them of a couple of draft picks. Don't you think?
My mic is off. My bad. I'm talking this whole time. So Uncle Dennis was kind of beasting Pop, and this was my smoking gun for me because you and I are both reporters, and you and I do big stories. You and I have sources. You and I, talk to people. The smoking gun for me was when Pablo said, "Hey, I got 7 employees from Aspiration, including 2 from their finance department, who said, hey, this is what was happening." Today, they had him talk about that payment from Dennis Wong that went to Kawhi. And then Pablo asked the question, hey, so you said that Aspiration fired 20% of its staff. When did they fire that staff in correlation to that payment that Kawhi got? They fired 20% of their company on December 9th, the day Kawhi got his money.
Wow.
There's just too much there to go and say, well, it's all coincidence. Like it's too many pieces of string being pulled. That's all kind of interconnected to where when Steve Ballmer's like, we welcome an investigation. Okay, do you? Because we did this before. And the NBA was like, yo, stop. My issue is, and tell me if you agree, I think the NBA kind of didn't do their complete due diligence with the first investigation.
100%.
And now you have all of this. And the NBA is going to look really bad because they didn't do their full investigation, it seems like, from before.
I'm not saying it's the same situation, but it seems like it's the NFL with the whole Ray Rice situation where they said they did an investigation, but then TMZ dropped the video on them and they had egg on their face. So I think this is where the league's gonna have a little egg on their face. But now now they have a chance to set a precedent. Because again, I don't think Ballmer's the only owner moving like this.
I know on Bruce's show last night, he said that he thinks he's gonna be swept under the rug, kind of a slap on the wrist.
Nah, they can't.
Like you said, all the owners are probably doing this, and they did it. Joe Smith for the Timberwolves years ago. I think Kevin McHale was the GM. Glenn Taylor, who just sold the team to A-Rod, he was the owner. They said if Joe Smith takes a lesser deal that season, then they could say, hey, take this. We'll give you more next year on the back end, which you can't do. So they ended up losing draft picks, and McHale and Taylor ended up getting suspended for a year, essentially.
See?
So it's happened before. And David Stern, who, I'm not going to bring up Michael Jordan gambling and shit, but, David Stern knew a lot of shit. He was like, absolutely not. We can't have this. But I printed out part of the NBA collective bargaining agreement, Article 13, which is circumvention. Because I was curious about it. And I got the Athletic had an article tonight about Article 13. I'm like, what the hell is Article 13? So I printed it out. A violation of Section 1 above for a team to enter into an agreement or understanding with any sponsor or business partner or third party under which such sponsor or business partner pays or agrees to pay compensation for basketball services, even if such compensation is ostensibly designated as being for non-basketball services to a player under contract of the team. Aspiration, which Steve Ballmer owned a percentage of, was also a sponsor of the Clippers. And they were going to be on their jerseys and on the back of their chairs at front court of Intuit Dome.
Okay.
So automatically violated. Penalties: impose a fine of either 4.5, 5.5, or $7.5 million. Forfeiture of draft picks. Voiding of any player contracts or extensions that are part of the deal.
That's not happening.
Suspension of up to 1 year of any team personnel found to have willfully engaged in such behavior. And then I think the players get fined, possibly, but usually the team takes the hit, not so much the players. Yeah. Is this a situation where the NBA is going to take their time? Because they said they have to take their time now. Take their time. And do you think Ballmer goes, I didn't know about it. However, our president of operations, Lawrence Frank, and maybe get someone to take the hit for the team?
This is going to be a mafia style. He's going to pass the blame down to the president of operations. he's going to take us, a hit where he's going to lose his job, but he'll be well compensated for that. And this is how we keep every business as usual. He's going to lose Frank's going to probably lose his job. They're going to lose maybe 2 first rounders. Set a precedent right there. But in terms of fine, anything else, you probably get a little fine, but nothing's going to happen to the Kawhi. Nothing's going to happen to the player. No contract's going to be voided. I just think this is where Ballmer's going to have a fall guy, and I'm pretty sure he's working on that plan right now.
Adam Silver had a press conference after the Board of Governors meetings this week, which happened to happen this week, which is hilarious.
Great timing.
His quote was, "The burden is on the league if you're going to discipline a team, an owner, a player, or constitute any constituent members of the league." I think as with any process that requires a fundamental sense of fairness, the burden should be on the party that is in essence bringing those charges. So in my head, what that is, well, we have to prove it. We're not going to sit there and go, based on Pablo Torre's reporting, no. They're going to try to find their own evidence, probably circle back to what they missed before, which seemed like based on all this shit, they seem like they missed a lot, and try to justify their previous investigation and then justify the $750,000 fine they got before to whatever happens now. I just feel like they're in a no-win because everyone's like, what happened the last time?
All right.
Like, what did you miss? Why did Pablo Torre find all this stuff out and you have a law firm like at your disposal 24/7 that couldn't figure this shit out themselves?
You know what it was? They forgot journalism. They thought journalism was dead. And they see all these athletes out here with their podcasts acting like journalists, but we know to the core they're not. And I want to say, ESPN, thank you for not having faith in Pablo's show. So now he's doing this now. Remember that they canceled the show so quickly, and now he's doing real journalistic work. So thank you, Pablo. Just stay away from the Knicks because I know you want to go there next. I know he wants to find out why people are taking pay cuts and why we have all of Villanova over there. Just stay away from the Knicks. That's all I ask of Pablo. Stay away from the Knicks.
So Bruce said this: journalism is dead. I don't think it's dead. I think the way we get it is different. Right. I think you and I grew up on newspapers,
right?
Newspapers, Sports Illustrated, Sport Magazine. That was what we read the paper. We read Sports Illustrated. I think the way journalism is done now is a little different, where you have a Pablo Torre on a podcast with the video and the audio doing it that way. There's no more writing. Pablo used to write for Sports Illustrated. That doesn't happen anymore, right?
Yeah, I think now you got to. Yeah, I think the way people receive, the stories traditionally, it's dead. I think what Pablo's doing now, it's going to be a lightning rod into journalism. I feel like a lot of journalists are going to see what he did and probably start, going back to their roots.
Yeah, I think the idea of, and I know you and I see it all the time when we go to cover sporting events, and we see you might see the old heads like Bill Roden, and you see them and like, all right, well, what are they doing? They're online, right? Mike Lupica ain't writing for the New York Daily News anymore. He's doing his own thing online. Everyone's online now, so the journalism part is gone from print to online to now video to now YouTube, and having these inserts. And Pablo Torre, like, you look at what he's done with like the gambling, with the Malik Beasley thing, with the Jordan Hudson thing, with her and Bill Belichick, and that shit was hilarious. But that was the reporting, right? He's able to kind of do these deep dives that as a journalism nerd, I love that because that's what I still do that on occasion. I still go look for a story and get an interview if I need some stuff like that. So I think this just made the NBA look really bad and look like they really didn't give a shit the first time, and now they have to give a shit now.
At what point did you think Steve Ballmer was like, who the hell is Pablo Torre?
Yeah, well, it's funny because he did the interview with Ramona Shelburne after last week's stuff came out. And I didn't see it. I didn't see it. No, you did see it. You saw some of it. You might not have seen the whole hour, 10 minutes. I'm watching it and my wife is talking to me. I'm like, shh, shut up. I'm trying to watch this. It's a lot happening right now. he probably didn't see it, all of it. So he probably had no idea who Pablo Torre. Now he does, especially after today with this news about his college roommate and co-owner of the Clippers giving money to a company that was pretty much belly up at that point. So I'm curious to see where this goes. Over under this investigation taking a year.
Oh, under. I think we're gonna solve. I think they get this handled by New Year.
New Year's.
Yeah, I think it's not gonna take long.
Okay, so by the end of the year, we will have maybe not a solution, but the investigation will be done.
Because I'm thinking in terms of the line of Spygate. That didn't really take a full year. They pretty much solved that, or Deflategate. Both of those pretty much was a couple of months. So I'm thinking with the evidence Pablo has, and then they're gonna go deep dive, and they're probably gonna talk to those ex-employees. Hopefully they signed NDAs. If not, then
Well, he talked to 7 of them, and two spoke not on camera, but they had to do voice modulation, which I'm like, because that company and one of their CEOs has actually got arrested for fraud and all that stuff. So they didn't want to say too much in public, but they said, we'll talk to you, but disguise our voice, which I'm like, I get it. Bruce thinks he's going to be over by the season. So he thinks in the next 4 weeks.
Okay, so we got 4 weeks. I got a couple of months, and you got the end of the season. Okay, we'll see.
I honestly, I think you can't fast track this. I'm like, you have to go deep. You have to go deeper than Pablo went at this point.
I'll tell you this though, media day for the Clippers just got a whole lot more interesting.
Ooh,
especially with someone who doesn't talk.
All I have to say is this. All I have to say right now. Kawhi. Just play Kawhi. So that's the Clipper situation. I really see them. Like I said, I don't see Ballmer getting suspended. I don't see Kawhi contract being voided. I see a gigantic fine coming. Record fine.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Also see draft picks being taken.
I say two first rounders.
I'm saying 3 or 4. If this is as bad as it seems, and obviously once again, on the surface, it looks really bad.
I mean, you do got to send a message to the other owners.
Well, look, Donald Sterling, once Clippers, they had to send a message. We don't tolerate this type of behavior. The fine was big, and they pretty much made Sterling like, hey, you're going to sell this team right now. That was an example. I think if this is proven correct that the Clippers circumvented the salary cap, which is that's like to Adam Silver, based on what he said, based on what he's always said, that's a no-no. You don't fuck around with the salary cap. If this happened.
To play devil's advocate real quick though, it was a funny, smart, clever move to lure him away from the Lakers. It was very shrewd. It was very shrewd business. That's all I gotta say.
It was, but I know there was Pablo did his show, and then Ballmer did his apology, and then Pablo did a show with Mark Cuban because Mark Cuban went at Pablo on X. So Pablo's like, want to talk? And they went on. Cuban said, you can't be this stupid. If Ballmer did this, he's one of the dumbest men alive. I don't think it's so much intellect and dumb. I think it's arrogance if he did it.
Well, I'm glad you went there because I think it is arrogance, and I think it's because he's worth. Is he the richest owner? He's the richest owner in the league by far, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking about how the landscape of sports are now, like where teams are selling the Cowboys. I'm not the Cowboys. The Lakers sold for what, 10 billion, 9 billion. So now these owners are just filthy rich. It's not like the Bust family where it's a family-owned business anymore. Most of these owners are so wealthy, they feel like they're above the board of governors. So I feel like this is why you do got to come down hard on the Clippers, because you really got to send a message to these billionaires that, hey, we got to do fair business.
Yeah, and we got to stay above board. Like we get it. These players, the salaries are going up, and you guys are paying out of pocket, and you guys are paying out your ass these salaries. But there are rules to this shit, right? Like Biggie said, there's rules to this game. There's rules to this shit.
Yep.
You got to follow those rules, or else. And I think the Clippers, and my dad makes it perfect. Clippers made the news the best way they could.
Listen, man, the Clippers. I love my Mets, but damn it, they're the Mets equivalent to NBA, man. They're they stay in the news for the wrong reason.
Look, what did I say in the feed, the blurb for the show? LA's biggest stepbrother. Like that's what they are. They're making news now, and when this is all said and done, we will all forget about the Clippers all over again. Although that arena is pretty sick.
I gotta make a trip to that arena. I gotta see it.
I know it seems like it's out in the middle. Like the Forum, I'm like, oh, the Forum seemed cool, but then you look at where it is on like Google Maps. It's like really not around anything.
No.
like you think Inglewood up to no good. I'm thinking like, okay, California love type shit. Okay, go. I'm looking at Google Maps, like ain't nothing but like desert. like they out there up in the desert. I guess that's cool, and mountains. It's fucking weird. So we'll keep you posted on this because I said before, I'm like, it's been very slow, and this happened last week. I'm like, yes, we got something to talk about. Because the WNBA feeds us in the summer, but I'm like, we need some more. We need some more news. So this definitely, I was cheering when this happened. Switching WNBA down to the stretch run of the regular season. The playoffs start this weekend. Las Vegas Aces, who I said were dead a couple months ago.
Yeah.
15 wins in a row. I look like a jackass. Asia Wilson,
MVP,
made everybody forget about Nafisa Collier. She was hurt. I will give her that. Collier was hurt for a while. Did you see this coming? Because honestly, slow start, not having Kelsey Plum to seem like an issue. And then they just kind of started like, all right, we got it, and just started beating everybody.
I didn't see this coming. I did think that they suffered from a slow start, and they were just trying to get their legs under them, get all their women back in order. But once they started doing that, then you just saw they just took off. So I think going into the playoffs, by far, they're the most clear. They're the favorites. I think they surpassed the Liberty. We ain't gonna talk about them right now. They surpassed the Lynx in terms of my favorite. I think they're on a collision course with the Lynx to get in the championship.
Well, right now they're in third. I think they're in pole position to get second.
Second, right.
And overtake the Atlanta Dream. So right now, your top 8, your playoff teams, this is the order. I'm not saying matchups yet. The Lynx, the Dream, the Aces, the Mercury is 4. Liberty is dropped all the way down to 5th. Indiana Fever are going to make the playoffs without Caitlin Clark, who's going to miss the rest of the season. Golden State Valkyries, first expansion team in league history to ever make the WNBA playoffs, so congratulations to them. And the Seattle Storm sneaks in and gets that last playoff spot in the WNBA. I think right now, and I know Bruce said it in his show last night, and I was fighting this all day as I was like thinking about a finals matchup. But I think it's gonna be Minnesota and Vegas. I don't see another team that can touch either one of those teams right now.
Well, the thing is, you got to remember now the matchups are a little longer, so we're gonna see. But I agree. I don't think anybody else they're clear cut above everybody. I think that second round matchup would probably with the Dream. Would the Dream would play the Lynx, right?
I believe so.
Oh no.
But,
so we'll see. No, well they're 3, so they won't play. They'll play the Aces, but. I think between the winner of that series will probably win the championship because I'm not really sold on the Lynx either. I'm more so sold on the Aces just steamrolling everybody as they currently are.
Yeah, I'm intrigued with the format of everything now and how you don't have that one game in and then you go into a series and then obviously the finals has gone to a seven games.
Yep.
But the first round is best of 3. I'm looking at it now. Best of 3, best of 5 for the semis, and then best of 7 for the finals. I'm curious to see in that first round because as much as I love Golden State, I don't want to say their run was fluky because it did play well. They lost Kayla Thornton early, which I thought was going to be like, oh, they lost their star player.
Right.
And they kind of kept it going, playing really good defense. And their 3-point shooting was great, but you can't keep that. We see it in the NBA. Great 3-point shooting teams get to the NBA playoffs and they fall off. I think the same thing with them. The Liberty, I don't know what the hell to think about them at this point. 5-5 in their last 10. Stewie just came back. Sabrina's killing it, but no one else is doing anything. So it seems like it's Sabrina and Skew. Stewie's kind of getting her legs back, getting ready for the playoffs, and then just everybody else kind of just all over the place. Jonquel is not playing that great. Marine Johannes, who I love, she's not playing that great. I just feel like they're in this weird spot of you have to think and ask themselves, are we good? And we can.
If they play Mercury in the first round, I think they're waiting for the playoffs to start. I think they're the traditional veteran team that just wants the regular season to end and get to the playoffs. So we'll see. It's going to be very telling in the first round who they match up with and how that looks.
Look, Bruce, I was waiting for this one. That Liberty ring was a fluke.
Can't say that. They can't say that.
I expect nothing less for Bruce. Just hating on the Liberty. No, I don't. Even the Mercury could give them problems because they're very physical, and I feel like besides Jonquel, that could be an issue.
They're gonna have a problem. That's gonna be a big issue. I agree right there.
So who do you? Okay, I know I'm going ahead, but I gotta go there. Who do you have in the finals?
I think. I mean, it's too easy to say Lynx and Aces, right? It's too easy. So maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. I will say it'll be the Aces and Liberty. I'm gonna switch it up. I think the Liberty are playing coy, and they're gonna be fine come playoff time.
You'll take a fluke ring. You'll take a who's the guy in semi-pro, Woody Harrelson. You'll take that ring. Like they're saving it up, and then we're gonna get that ring because Woody came in and helps us out.
Listen, we know how these things are. You know they want the Aces and Liberty to be the first 7-game WNBA Finals. You know how to be a rating bonanza. That's what they want.
They would kill for Aces Liberty 7-game series. They would kill for that. But can the Liberty get there? I think that's the bigger question. Can they get to that point?
If they can well, it all depends. If they can survive Mercury in the first round, well, I'll give them a fighting chance against the Lynx in the second.
We'll see.
Who wants the payback for what happened to them in the finals last year?
Yeah, I think Nafisa Collier. She came back, and I think her first couple of games, she might have been on minutes restriction, and she didn't play great. But I think she's been back about, I want to say 3 weeks, and her game is right back to normal again. So I feel like if she's playing where she was before she got hurt, with the additions they made at the trade deadline, I think you're looking at a team that could stacks up very well against the Aces. Against the Liberty, they stack up even better. So I don't think you're gonna have a walkthrough in that series anyway. But I think if the Liberty Lynx series, I don't care what round it is, the edge has to go to Minnesota. I would.
They're going to be underdogs, regardless. Yep.
All right, so the WNBA finals playoffs first round start on Sunday. There's 4 games, which I'm pretty hyped about. 1, 3, 5, and 10 p.m. So I will be up late on Monday watching WNBA on a Sunday. So I'll be very upset at work on Monday.
So that means if we're looking at the Liberty Mercury, that's could probably be the 10 o'clock game. No, that's gonna be the late game.
It could be Golden State. No, sorry. No, scratch that. Forget everything I just said. It's not, because Golden State won't get a home game.
Right.
I'll tell you right now as I bring this up because my computer.
Because they're doing that. They're doing that. The higher seed gets the first 2, right? They're doing that again.
It could either Vegas or Phoenix.
Okay.
So that will be your 10 o'clock game on Sunday.
Okay.
So could be interesting. I do want to talk about the Connecticut Sun because that's still happening. that debacle. The Connecticut Attorney General is now pretty much telling WNBA back the hell up, and he wants requesting files regarding the sale of the Connecticut Sun to whoever the hell buys them. William Tong sent a letter to the league saying, I want to see what you have on this relocation. He wants to keep the Sun in Connecticut. The Sun is like, we have a buyer in Boston who will probably pay us more to do this. the WNBA is kind of pushing the Boston move because that's a $325 million move. I think the Connecticut move would be more in that low 200 spot. It won't be 325. Do you think this franchise stays in Connecticut or do they move to Boston?
Money talks. They'll eventually move to Boston and become the Boston Beckys. So,
Boston Beckys. They played there before, right? They sold out Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But long term, would the franchise be better in Boston and maybe get swallowed up by the city, or Connecticut, where you already have that built-in fan base, where you have women's basketball and UConn running the state, Hartford Civic Center, i.e. XO Center, i.e. some bank name now. They just got renovated, so you have a kind of a newer arena. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep them there?
It would make more sense, but if Boston wants them, Boston's going to get them. That's how I look at it. But it does make more sense. But regardless, they got to get out of Mohegan Sun. I heard this, it's hard for people that live in Connecticut to get there, so they gotta get out of there. But Hartford's got to come up with. They gotta have to come up with a better pitch.
I mean, it's hard for people from New Jersey to get to Mohegan, let alone Connecticut people. Like,
exactly.
I've never been to Mohegan Sun, but I could imagine that place stinks to get to. It's the middle of nowhere. To get to the arena, you have to walk through the casino, which just seems like a labyrinth because casinos is built to make you lost, give you, vertigo walking around. So I would think that Boston long-term could be better, but I feel like 2 or 3 bad seasons, that will hurt them, and people will stop caring. Like when they go to Boston now, people care because Connecticut's coming to Boston. Awesome! I bring my daughter or I bring my partner. Blah, blah, blah. It's cool. When they're there and they're not making any money because the fans stop because they have a couple of non-playoff seasons, will those fans still be there? As opposed to Connecticut, where like this is all we got. We're going to support our team, ride or die, no matter what. I feel like you kind of got to look at that, not so much the finances, but look at like over long term, good and bad. What city works out better?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the Whalers and how quickly they bolted out of there when they had the chance. And
Bruce,
NHL, what he said?
Well, yeah, I mean NHL. Listen, I just watched a documentary about the Whalers and how they played. They played in a mall. The arena was like in a mall, and they survived until obviously they couldn't redo this arena and then they moved to Carolina, which. I'm sorry, I know they want a Stanley Cup. That's still on a goddamn hockey market. That's just my.
But like you said, they won a Stanley Cup. They didn't do that in Connecticut. The Suns, they didn't win a WNBA championship out there. So it correlines a little bit. I think again they'd be better served in Boston. That's just my preference.
Bruce said Connecticut is trash. I will neither agree or disagree. I will just.
I will say this. There's 3 places I know how to get to in Connecticut. WWE headquarters, Crack and Barrel, and stay on the 95 to get to Boston. Those are the 3 things I know about Connecticut.
Wait. The old headquarters or the new headquarters?
Well, actually, the new headquarters is before the old headquarters.
Yeah, you see it right on the highway.
Right on the highway, yeah.
Yep.
Whereas the old headquarters was a little further out. So, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, you drive through to get to Boston. I think I stopped at a rest stop there and had some banging grilled cheese. That's all I remember about Connecticut. Some grilled cheese at a rest stop.
Speaking of Boston real quick, I think the last time I drove out to Boston, we passed WWE in Connecticut. On the way to Boston, we passed the Celtics practice facility. Not too far from Fenway.
Yeah, it's like literally like middle of the highway on the Mass Pike. Mass Pike is right there. It looks really nice.
It looks really nice.
It looks sweet. It's the New Balance sponsor and everything. So yeah, I've been to Boston a while, but the worst part of going to Boston is driving through Connecticut. Because getting out of New York takes like an hour.
Right.
Getting through Connecticut, which is like this big, takes like 4 hours. And in Rhode Island's like 20 minutes.
I'm telling you, like you said, that from the WWE headquarters to to Fenway is nothing to see until you get to the Boston.
Yeah, and nothing to see there. I think you pass Bridgeport, the Bridgeport Arena. You see it.
Yeah, you see that,
even,
right?
But even that arena, I'm like, that arena looks like shit too. Is anything nice in Connecticut? Who lives here? Who lives in Connecticut? If you're watching, you're in Connecticut, please tell us at the boxout@gmail.com. What are the virtues of Connecticut? Tell us what makes Connecticut such a great place. And I will put your email on air and we will shout you out. Let us know what the hell Connecticut's all about.
Someone's gonna say the Metro North. I guarantee it.
Metro North and UConn women's basketball. That's about it. That's all you got in Connecticut. That's about it.
Yep.
The other part, and I know Bruce talked about this last night, and I want to dig into this deeper too. Unrivaled announced they're going to add 2 new teams.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger news is that they got more investment. Their valuation is now $340 million.
And growing.
And they're saying that they're going to turn a profit this year, which is unheard of for a startup league.
Damn,
to turn a profit
before the WNBA?
Yes, in year 2. But also, what they do is smart because they play at one site. Everything's in-house, right? They're not traveling. Everyone stays in that area. And they just stay there for a couple months, play ball, and go home. So it's cost-effective. Plus, their sponsors are no joke either. Like, they got sponsors, and they got a TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, which is apparently Paramount is trying to buy Skydance, trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which I'm like, what? Didn't we just do all this? Didn't you guys just buy your own shit? Now you're trying to buy more shit, whatever. Another conversation for another day. But we have the CBA expiring in the WNBA. We have some animosity with that whole situation.
Uh-huh.
How big is this growth in Unrivaled? The evaluation, and now the expanding the rosters, 2 more teams. Paige Becker's going to make a lot more money playing in Unrivaled than she did the whole season in WNBA. Do you think Unrivaled could become kind of a sticking point in negotiations for the WNBA?
I think so. I think Unrivaled is going to be the professional NIL that's going to piss a lot of people off, and I think that's good business. It gives them something to show, like, hey, listen, if we can do this and grow it out, and within year 2, imagine what it's going to look like in 5 years. It's like equivalent to the big 3, but only it's women still playing now.
Yeah, I'm of the mind where Unrivaled's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
You and I both watched it. I know Bruce is a fan. I know Bruce is quick to shit on Breanna Stewart about that one-on-one shit, but that's not the point. It's a good thing. I think the WNBA needs to embrace it because I don't think they really embraced Unrivaled at any point last year. Nope. I think you need to embrace it because, one, having that league ultimately can help you keep your costs down in the W because you're like, you're going to make the most money doing that. Cool. We cannot pay you what you're worth for real, right? What you're worth in the WNBA, we cannot pay that. We expect you to get that at Unrivaled. We can give you what we give you. We can raise your salaries, add more perks. A lot of teams are doing their own stuff, like building practice facilities and everybody flying coach or private, whatever. I think the league needs to start embracing Unrivaled because that's going to keep you in business. Because they're like, we're not going to make any more money here. We're going to make money there. So we can take a little less here with the WNBA because we'll make bank for those 2-3 months we're Unrivaled.
Yep.
So I think WNBA really needs to look at this and go, we really got to come to the table and go, we can't give you what you want, but you know what? We'll put some money in Unrivaled. Let us do that. Because right now, I don't know their finances. So I don't know how close they are to making a profit or turning a profit. I feel like they might be closer in the next couple of years to turning a profit, WNBA.
Okay.
But I feel like if they go overboard with this new CBA, that being profitable shit goes out the window quick.
What's the chances they go on strike? That would hurt everything. Because I think if they go on strike, it will not be a quick one. It'll last a while.
Right now,
Yeah.
50-50. I think it's 50-50. I can see them going, we're not fighting. It's the new generation now. Like the Sue Birds,
Exactly.
Tarasis, they're gone.
They're gone.
We got this new crop who are like, we get it. They got us here. The Tarasis, the Sue Birds, the Lauren Jacksons, right? They got us here. Now we're here, and we want more. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think the argument's still happening. They're not getting millions. They don't deserve it. They do deserve it. Are they going to get Kobe, LeBron, Shaq? No, they're not. They don't, and they're not asking for that. But they're like, we want fair market value for what we do. Our season is 5 months long. We know we're not going to get a year-long salary, but increase the lowest salary and increase the highest, and then everything in between goes up just because. Yeah. But I really do think their feet are dug in based on that All-Star game that weekend. And based on what was happening, they're dug into this shit. And they're like, we're not playing. And those other players were happy just to be there. These players now, like, we're here now. So treat us as such.
Absolutely. And I think eventually they'll get there, but it's gonna be a lot of fighting.
I'm curious to see how this turns out. And listen, the commissioner seems very confident that this is going to be done soon. God bless her and her
optimism.
Her optimism. Thank you. I don't see this. I don't see this ending very quickly. I see this stretching out, maybe close to training camp.
Oh, I agree.
And by that point, they might say, "Fuck it, we're going home," and then we get scabbed WNBA players. Our last topic. I want to talk about this too. Basketball Hall of Fame. Did you watch? Because I didn't watch.
I didn't understand the whole Redeem team getting jackets, but I did watch Melo's speech. And I loved how social media turned that into why he didn't mention Lala. I'm like, no one mentions their ex-wife when they get a Hall of Fame speech.
That's like me shouting out my ex-girlfriends. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
Carmelo, I always forget he's Spanish. He's part Spanish.
I'd be thinking that too.
I forgot. He's Puerto Rican. I forgot about that. Oh, okay. Listen, Hall of Fames are always sketchy for me because the Football Hall of Fame I don't really watch. Basketball Hall of Fame I definitely don't watch. Hockey Hall of Fame I never know when it's on. Ever.
Oh my God, ever. Same here.
Yeah, ever. But I do feel like basketball does it right because not everybody, their classes are really tiny.
Yeah.
There's really small classes that get into Basketball Hall of Fame. Like the Redeem team was big because you had the whole team. But if you kind of break it down, I think 3 players got in this year. There was Maya Moore, Carmelo, and who's the other one?
I can't even tell you the third one.
I forgot the third one. And that was it. NFL, they'd be like 9 people getting in. Hockey be like, here's 7 players, and then 2 from 1920 with the Rangers, and then we have 1 newspaper writer from Montreal. I'm like, that's a lot of people. Who voted for this? I find basketball gets it right because they're very selective, and not everybody gets in. They have the 3 like
Dwight Howard
players, and then they have like their kind of like what baseball does. Baseball does it right too, because baseball is like nobody's getting in. Boozer, that was the other one. Boozer was the third one. I can't remember. Baseball does it right too because not everybody gets in there, and after 10 years, you're wiped out if you don't get in.
Right, because like NFL, you could be on that ballot for 30 years, 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, baseball is good too because you get 10 years, but then if your vote falls below like 5%, they're like, you're out forever now. No one cares about you. I'm like, oh man. But I don't. Basketball Hall of Fame just feels special, and I've never been there, but I just feel like that Hall of Fame, more than the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I would even say, but more than Cooperstown, that one just feels different than the other ones.
Not only that, but I've completely contradicted myself, and thanks to Melo's speech, he has persuaded me he should get his number retired in the Knicks. I'm of that ilk now. I was like, you know what? He shouted us out. He seemed like he did want to come here. We didn't have much to cheer about those years. And Denver's going to retire his number. So we might as well go ahead too.
Okay. So how many years did Carmelo play for the Knicks?
How was it, 5 or 4?
I'm looking it up because I think we're about to get into an argument because the contributions he made to the Knicks, we got to the playoffs. We won a series.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, what did he do for the Knicks? In the grand scheme of it all, what did he really accomplish?
I mean, he won a scoring title with the Knicks. All-Star each of those years with the Knicks. He was the reason why people still came to the Garden, in my opinion, those 5 years, where some of those years looked real dreadful. It really wasn't on him. It was on bloody Phil Jackson.
That was all Phil. I still blame Phil for all that shit. I'm looking something up because I'm trying to make my point, and I want to see if the point gets across. So he had 6.5 seasons with the Knicks.
Okay, 6. Okay,
6.5. Here's my other point.
All-Star each year.
Okay, my point is this.
Mm-hmm.
I would put the Carmelo jersey retirement on the same level as the Vince Carter jersey retirement for the Nets.
Damn.
5 years.
I mean,
5 years for Vince, 6.5 for Carmelo. That's a little fugazi for me. I'm sorry. That's a little fugazi. Like, give me 10. You have for your number to be retired by a team, you have to give them minimum 10 years.
Even if you're a Hall of Famer.
10 years.
Did Jason Kidd give the Nets 10 years?
No, he did not. No, he did not. Buck Williams didn't give him 10 years. His number retired too. You got 10 years. That's it. You know what? I'll even lessen it because I think John Starks' number. I think John Starks' number.
I think 6 is fair.
But it's 6 with 1 playoff series win. Like, ooh, like it's 6 years, but like we won 1 playoff series in 6 years. In that case,
right now,
mm-hmm.
Right now, Brunson doesn't qualify, but right now they would put a jersey up for Brunson.
Okay, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'll take that back. I'll take that back. I will drop it to 8 years, and here's why. Mm-hmm. I think John Starks should have his jersey retired before Carmelo Anthony.
I agree. However, he works for the Knicks now, so you know.
No. John Starks. I'll put Oakley, because that shit's never happening now. Oakley. I'll put Anthony Mason up there. I would put all those guys up there ahead of Carmelo.
Before Carmelo?
I think the sentimental plus he passed on, so I feel like me. I feel like you got to give a team 8 years. Give us 8 seasons. With success, not just 8 years of you winning scoring titles and you just getting accolades. 8 years of team success. Maybe not a championship, but get close. Right? John Starks got close. Although he was the reason we lost in 94, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm not going to relive that in my head. 8 years to get your at least 8 years. Anything less than 8 years, you're a mercenary.
Damn. No love for mercenaries, huh?
That's how I feel. You're a mercenary at that point.
So you think Denver's doing the right thing retiring his jersey?
I think they had a lot of success. When he came in, Denver is what Charlotte is now before he got there. Denver was where when people went and like, shit, I gotta go to Denver. You got traded to Denver. Then I'm gonna retire early. A lot of guys did that. Carmelo came in and brought Denver kind of back up to relevance. Didn't win. I think they got to a couple of Western Conference Finals. But I think his number is more. I'll respect that retirement more than his number get retired with the Knicks.
So if you had a choice between Melo, Marbury, I'm trying to think about 03 to when Melo got there. You're still not gonna put a Melo?
If we put Melo up, let's just put Eddie Curry's 34 up too. Just do that.
Damn.
Get that up there. That's where I'm at with it. Because retirement in a situation like this, retirements are just a way to get people into the building. The Knicks are going to get people in the building regardless. The Nets retired Vince Carter's number because nobody was going to Barclays. And they knew they can draw. And he still didn't draw because they didn't sell that game out regardless. So who cares? So I need more. Like there's other Knicks that should be up there.
You know, I went to Prudential the other day and I was like, damn, the Nets would have been really better off staying in Jersey.
Hmm? Listen, it's for basketball, Prudential's a nice spot. I will say
it is.
So I'm of the mind where I understand what the idea of Bruce Ratner was when he brought the team, bringing to Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
The Brooklyn experiment has not worked, and it never will work. And as someone who lives in Brooklyn, you know better than anybody.
I got to do a deep dive about. You know what, Pablo? Pablo inspired me. I think I'm gonna do a deep dive about the whole Nets and that whole fiasco because a lot of stuff that was promised in Ratner's bringing the Nets to Brooklyn hasn't happened. So I'm gonna do some deep diving about that.
Oh, Jason Cortner doing his Pablo Torre. Go do some deep diving on the unfulfilled expectations of the Barclays Center.
But in fairness to Barkley, I'm happy I don't have to go to Westchester for Liberty games.
Listen, TNA did a show at the Westchester County Civic Center, and I'm like, this is more the speed of Westchester, a TNA show.
100%.
And it was like their 1,000th Impact episode too. I'm like,
you know what? If NXT went over there, I would go. If NXT went to Westchester, I would go.
Listen, real quick, because I'm a sidebar. I've tried watching NXT.
Oh, it's bad. It's unwatchable.
There's nothing cool about it. TNA is getting kind of buried in all this right now.
Did you see what they're doing next week? The whole homecoming theme.
The back to Full Sail. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm really trying. I also just question. I'm glad you're here because I've talked to my wife. She doesn't help me. So the PLEs are moving to ESPN Unlimited, which I get for free because I have ESPN through Verizon.
Nice. Yep.
Do I keep Peacock? Because the library is still on Peacock. But in my head, I'm like, and my wife asked me questions like, do you watch the old shows? I'm like, yeah, if I'm working from home and I need some background noise, I might put on the 95 Royal Rumble.
I do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I was watching 88, 89 SummerSlam the other day. So yeah, I do the same thing. I think the library is still going to be there. NXT PLEs are going to go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I was debating because Peacock went up heavy the last year or so.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that worth it? Because I just got rid of the ESPN off my bundle for Hulu and Disney. I'm like, okay, well that went down. If I get rid of Peacock, that's like $15 a month I can knock out.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Peacock's on my chopping block. It's on my chopping block. I'm debating. I'm gonna give it. Well, I gotta pay for ESPN because I got YouTube TV. So I'm literally probably gonna wait till Saturday to subscribe till next Saturday because I want to see if everything comes aligned in terms of they come to an agreement. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I saw Verizon you get ESPN Unlimited for free. I'm like, what? I do? Because I was like, I'm not paying $30 for that. And then I think, I think Disney Plus, Hulu, and Unlimited was like $39 a month. I'm like, Jesus Christ. No ads because I hate ads.
Same here. Same here.
I'm like, that's a lot of goddamn money. I'm like, nah, I'll wait it out. Or just use my shitty computer and find a stream somewhere on some unsavory website and just watch PLEs that way.
Speaking of, we were talking about Westchester County. Did you hear what's going on with the whole WWE in terms of WrestleMania in 2 years is going to be in Saudi?
I heard that.
And they're taking all this money. And I think the president of TK or somebody said, hey, Vince was running it like a mom and pop shop in terms of going to these small arenas. They have no intentions of doing that. So gone will be the days of going to Westchester for WWE live events. I think they're going to actually get rid of live events and then make all the stuff premium, which is unfortunate for the everyday fans because they're going to get cost out because you go into UFC, it's so much money already. So,
I mean, I think the problem becomes too, I'm like, yeah, you want to make money. And I understand you're a conglomerate. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you're going to price everybody out. and then most of your shows are going to be overseas because you're going to get the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Cities are going to bid for these big events. You're going to get money from them, but then you're not going to sell those events out. So SummerSlam was in Nashville a couple years ago. There was a lot of tarp in that stadium.
Right.
So at some point,
there was a lot of tarp right on MetLife.
Yeah.
This year.
So at some point, people are going to be like, we can afford this. Like, I think the VIP experience, which is obviously something you and I are never going to do.
Right.
For Vegas, for Mania, is $41,000.
It's crazy.
And that's not like hotel. I don't think hotels include in that. I think it's just the experience of doing WWE stuff all weekend, including tickets and stuff like that. The hotel and stuff are not included in that price. So you're still on the hook for staying in Vegas for 2 days, in the middle of August.
If you're going to take WrestleMania overseas, I don't see how you do not reward your European fans first, because those guys travel.
They don't care about them. They care about that.
They really don't.
They care about that blood money in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I almost said something. I'm gonna catch myself. So I almost said more after that. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna leave that alone. But WWE sucks. AEW still alive. Hear that, Bruce? Still going. Figuring it out. They got it. Kind of.
Well, I hope Paramount does buy them so they can throw their pay-per-views, kind of like what UFC is going to do starting in January on Paramount. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to not having to pay for a UFC pay-per-view event ever again.
I have not watched a UFC anything in 2 years.
January is a good time to get back in.
Yeah, it's my personal protest against Dana White. This is my protest against him. So I'm like, I'm not messing with UFC right now, if ever again. That's just me. I got my little rebellion. That's all I got.
I respect that.
Jason, as always, great show, bro.
Likewise.
So we'll be back next Thursday at 8 p.m. NBA season's coming. So our official season premiere will be in a couple weeks. I'm very excited to get back into this. The resistance is still happening after the events of yesterday. I was thinking about should I still do it? I'm still going to do it. So it's still coming. Probably more October-ish now. I'm still waiting on some audio stuff, but the resistance is coming this fall. We will be back next Thursday. Bruce will be back next Wednesday. Moody Irish Guy coming back. Live Free, Laugh Hard. We got an episode coming in October too, so a lot happening here as well. So thank you for watching, whether it's live, whether it's recorded, whatever. For Jason Corden, I'm Kahlil Thomas. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Thursday night here on the One Podcast Network.
Peace.
This has been The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Cordner. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.